It's not even a year yet since the POCO F7 was released back in March. And now, we already have the new POCO F8 Pro. What's interesting about this new release is, well, besides the early launch, is POCO decided to go back to an older look. I mean, just look at this side-by-side shot. Yeah, besides colorway. Look at them. Almost identical. Anyway, looks aren't just what we're after in this comparison. The F8 Pro certainly got multiple improvements across the board. What are those improvements exactly? We'll do a rundown of those in this comparison review. I'm your host CJ. Let's get this started. Like I said earlier, design is what really piques our interest about the POCO F8 Pro. They actually went back with the F6 Pro's design. So instead of the circular camera island like with the F7 Pro, the F8 Pro opted for a rectangular module, similar to the F6 Pro. Notably, this design language aligns with the higher-end Xiaomi models like the 15 Pro that we have here. This definitely gives the F8 Pro's design a more premium vibe in our opinion. At the same time, it looks a bit more playful in this blue colorway. Meanwhile, our F7 Pro looks more sedate in this black color option. Both phones combine the glass back and metal frame with flat edge design. If you haven't noticed already, the F8 Pro is relatively smaller in size, sporting a 6.59-inch display panel as compared to the F7 Pro's 6.67-inch. This also makes it lighter and more comfortable to hold, as it weighs only 199 grams versus 206 grams on the F7 Pro. When it comes to extra protection, I'm happy to report that both models are IP68 rated for dust and water resistance. Design may be subjective, but personally, I would dig the F8 Pro's look more in this case. However, since there's no definite change in terms of build quality, I'll end this round with a tie. Flip both phones over and you'll be greeted by crisp AMOLED panels. The POCO F7 Pro has a 6.66-inch wide quad HD Plus display, while the F8 Pro has a slightly smaller 6.59-inch Full HD screen. You heard that right, the F8 Pro has a tad bit lower screen resolution, but I bet you'd barely notice the difference. Both panels run at up to 120Hz refresh rate, and both are protected by Corning Gorilla Glass 7i for peace of mind. Peak brightness is about the same, with the F8 Pro capped at 3500 nits and the F7 Pro with max 3200 nits. Sadly, no LTPO tech in here just yet for both models. The bezel size is about the same, but as you can see, the F8 Pro has slightly more rounded corners, adding more comfort in hand. Interestingly, POCO says that the F8 Pro has a hyper RGB display that essentially delivers sharper, more detailed visuals while consuming less power. But again, I barely noticed any difference. Although that reduced power consumption did actually matter, since we apparently got longer battery life on the F8 Pro. We'll get to that in a bit. Now, one of the things that the F8 Pro really improved upon is its audio quality. The overall soundstage is fuller, with clearer highs and mids and more bass. What's even better is you get more symmetrical stereo audio, as it now comes with a dedicated second speaker at the top. On the other hand, the F7 Pro relies on its earpiece that doubles as the stereo speaker, so you get the idea. If it's not obvious from the back, the F8 Pro is co-tuned with Bose, an American company known for making high-end audio equipment, so it makes sense that it delivers a better soundstage. I mean, as it should. For biometric security, both have an ultrasonic fingerprint sensor, although these could definitely use a better placement. Not gonna lie, they're placed a bit too high for my liking. Nonetheless, both register my prints quickly, and it's the same case for face recognition. So their screens are good either way, but it boils down to audio quality, and the F8 Pro nails it better than the F7 Pro. Therefore, I'm giving the first point advantage to the F8 Pro this round. Moving over to performance, the F8 Pro's chipset upgrade is no joke. Coming from the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 on the F7 Pro, which is last year's flagship chip for context, the new model is now equipped with the Snapdragon 8 Elite. For config, both units that we have got 12GB of LPDDR5X RAM and 512GB of UFS 4.1 storage. To better illustrate the differences, let's look at our benchmark results. In Antutu Vision 10, the F8 Pro hit over 2.6 million, which is significantly higher than that of the F7 Pro at 1.9 million. In 3D Mark Wildlife Extreme, the F8 Pro yet again achieved a higher score and a higher average frame rate, suggesting it is better at gaming. The same higher result goes for the rest of our benchmark tests. Weirdly enough, despite having literally the same RAM and storage specs, the F8 Pro yielded faster read and write speeds than the F7 Pro. Setting numbers aside, when it comes to navigation and multitasking, both forms perform just about the same. App loading times are fast, and switching from different apps is a breeze. Animations here and there feel smoother with the F8 Pro, most likely because it's running the newer HyperOS 3 version. Gaming, on the other hand, the experience is definitely way better on the F8 Pro, hands down. Setting the graphics and frame rate at max for the games we tested was no hassle on this guy, although I would recommend leaving the games at that for long playthroughs. While you can technically do that with the F7 Pro too, the frame rates wouldn't be as smooth as compared to the F8 Pro, so there's that. But if you've tweaked the right settings or just leave it to the recommended settings, both models can definitely handle more than 60 FPS of stability. The temps are manageable for the most part and didn't go uncomfortably hot during our sessions for both phones. That said, it's just fair for the F8 Pro to secure another point this round, mainly thanks to its more powerful chipset. Now, let's talk about cameras. Aside from the design reverting to an older generation, the F8 Pro also brings back triple rear cameras, except it's a better setup this time around. It has a 50-megapixel main shooter with OIS, an 8-megapixel ultra-wide lens, and instead of just throwing a macro sensor as its third lens, the F8 Pro finally adds a 50-megapixel telephoto sensor. This makes it possible to shoot images at 2.5 times optical zoom without losing much detail. On the other hand, the F7 Pro basically has the same 50-megapixel main camera and 8-megapixel ultra-wide sensor. Their selfie shooters are also using a 20-megapixel sensor. Taking a look at our sample shots, both phones capture images with good clarity, especially with shots taken through the main sensors. Color reproduction is a bit odd to my liking though. The image leans towards warmer tones for both phones, and the default exposure could do some improvements. It seems like the images in general look brighter than they're supposed to be. And we shouldn't forget the telephoto sensor on the F8 Pro, capturing better shots at 2.5 times optical zoom, while the F7 Pro is capped at 2 times digital zoom. Moving on to video, it's also about the same for both phones. Shots are stabilized thanks to OIS, both phones can focus on subjects quickly, and clarity is on point. Then again, the telephoto lens, the F8 Pro does output better videos at higher zoom ranges. This is a comparo video for the POCO F7 Pro and the POCO F8 Pro, both using its rear camera. So this is what it looks like. Ooh! Again. Camera-wise, while not much has changed for everything else, the telephoto lens is definitely a neat addition. So the POCO F8 Pro earns its 3-point advantage this round. As far as battery life is concerned, it's safe to say that both phones do me a solid. The F8 Pro packs a slightly larger 6,210 mAh battery paired with 100 watt of wired charging. Meanwhile, the F7 Pro is equipped with a 6,000 mAh unit, with support for 90 watt of wired charging. Unfortunately, still no bypass charging here, but both phones support 22.5 watts of reverse wired charging. Now, the difference in battery capacity isn't that big if you think about it. But going back to the topic of reduced power consumption with the F8 Pro's display, it's possibly one of the factors that made its battery life better on paper. In our PCMark battery life test, it yielded a result of 17 hours and 15 minutes. That's about 2 hours longer than the F7 Pro's 15 hours and 59 minutes of runtime. So stacking all the facts, a more efficient chip, less power-consuming display, and a faster charging rate, then the F8 Pro can provide better battery life in general. Thus, it gets yet another point this round. On the software side, the POCO F8 Pro ships with the latest Android 16 and HyperOS 3 on top. The F7 Pro did ship with Android 15 and HyperOS 2, but we haven't gotten the update yet as of making this video. The first thing that I noticed right away is that the F8 Pro still uses the older-looking, outdated POCO icons from before. It's a minor nitpick, but a custom theme should be enough to make the home screen and app drawer look a lot better. Aside from that, it may not be that noticeable on the naked eye, but some of the animations on HyperOS 3 look more fluid and smoother. There are new features like the Hyper Island, the redesigned control center, new notification icons, and many more. As usual though, you'll find a substantial amount of bloatware for both phones, but they can easily be uninstalled should you want to get rid of them. In terms of update policy, we don't have info yet about the F8 Pro, but with reference to the F7 Pro's 4 major OS upgrades and 6 years of security patches, we can expect it to be more or less the same with the F8 Pro. Connectivity-wise, we pretty much get all the essentials here, including Wi-Fi 7, 5G, NFC, and IR blaster. What sets the F8 Pro apart is it finally supports eSIM, which both the F7 Pro and the F7 Ultra lacked. So with the newer Android version out of the box and eSIM support, the F8 Pro clearly takes this round easily. With the POCO F8 Pro launching mere months after the F7 Pro, it was quite a bittersweet reaction personally. To me, it seemed like the F7 Pro was an eccentric release for lack of better term. Coming back to an old design is something you don't normally see in the smartphone space. But all things considered, the F8 Pro feels more like a high-end flagship now. Based on a rundown, the F8 Pro is no doubt the better pick between the two phones that have been released this year. It boasts a subjectively better design, a better audio-visual experience, a telephoto camera, and more importantly, a more powerful raw performance. If price remains the same as before, then this new release is definitely worth getting. Don't get us wrong, the F7 Pro is still good in its own right. It still has a flagship tier processing power, basically the same camera performance except telephoto, a solid battery life, and a nice software experience. Not to mention, it's about to be a good deal considering the huge discounts it could potentially get during the holidays. It retailed for 27,999 pesos and the price could still go down anytime soon, so keep an eye out for those upcoming sales. So, what do you think of this comparo video? Will you get any of them anytime soon? We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. If you find this video helpful or informative, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, hit that bell icon so you won't miss out on any of our future uploads. See us on our social, that's Facebook, Instagram, X, and TikTok, and seeyoukitech.com for the latest tech news and reviews. Once again, this has been CJ, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye! See you later!